Thank you.
Good afternoon, Imam.
Akoy tinyang Imam.
Tinyanta khairala, inshallah.
I hope you had a good lunch.
Kaya mera yakon ton kendo sotole.
Ah.
Yes.
I will just give you just a very brief recap
Abe hakili bulandi sutundin kala jang.
Of the last session.
Mbina si labangto.
Up to the point that you got to Janjanbure prisons in Makati.
And for ifrata Janjanbure kasola dami Makati.
You still had not been given your legal rights.
Hanimbi imela nyanto lila.
You were not told that you were entitled to a lawyer, or one was not provided to you.
Ima foyenko isi jimwila nyanto altipurka lawyer ta adu itilma lawyer dila.
You had not been charged with an offense.
And ime tumi ko jimkuka rileke.
Nor were you taken to court.
And ime samba kiti bundala fanam.
At all the various places that you were detained, you were detained, perhaps at the NIA you were detained incommunicado.
Nyindinkira luto ye samba je ke sindi je wo nyadron sembo kan tumandolu fan NIA la dinkirato ye sindi je le ini moma nyomo ino bandala.
And at different points, it was clear that clearly the authorities were trying to conceal your whereabouts.
Andun ko bitaka nyamen dinkira jama ko ka finde nyamen melni kamadi pour ye muta ilaftela muto fa nun nale pour molu kana bakalam.
You also mentioned the conditions of your detention at Banjul.
Andu yafo fanan ye muta nyamen ye muta damen Banjul je ko be nyamen yo fanan fo,
which were not up to the international standards.
Me alon anim banku tema bundal la makamo mantanyola.
I believe this would be a good summary of what you've said so far about the way you were treated. You had indicated that there was something that you wanted to say, a point of rectification, I believe. Can you go ahead and do that?
Wala miya nsamba makati yendi min nantakole nung Abdul Jallo, but Abdullah Solem.
That is to say, the one that was escorting me to Janjanbure, I said Abdul Jallo, but it's Abdul Sow instead.
Abdullah Sow.
Abdullah Sow.
And which part of the security outfit was he from?
Abutan security wala kanton in tankada abunda loku jumalela.
Wala mo kafo miniliye serious crime.
That is the ones they call serious crime.
He was a police officer essentially.
Amunta police ole matinu.
Ade.
Yes.
And how long did you remain in Makati?
You wati jelle ke Makati?
Msafo nga karkili nyonki jele.
I can say I spent almost a month there.
And can you just give us briefly what the conditions of your detention at Makati was? I know that you've explained that they did try to do things that favored you, and they were very kind to you, the authorities, because they knew you had done nothing wrong. But perhaps tell us what those conditions were that you were detained under that may not have been so favorable.
Yo, along ko tumandolo wairi mudul taraje yemenu long la talibolu and so on lafta kulu kele yemensi se wonde akobari ilamuto tataje kulu kono nyamin along ko dal amanke ku kendete amanke dinkirati damensi mo nyabo bitun sa ilamuto je itata kulu kono je nyamen o fonyemba
wala mo kaberin nganna jorangol nyininka ayedinna.
After I asked for my materials and he gave them to me, then he showed me the restroom. There was no bulb inside. But the first, second, third night,
Keba Sise,
Keba Sise,
Bimbe Marlin Kasolula,
who was in charge of the prisons,
Anatafoko Nyemu Alfaleti, Alse Lampo Dundino Konotole.
he said this one is an elderly person and put a bulb inside.
Inata Lampu Werima Dundi Konot.
Or then they brought a lamp, the hurricane lamp.
Lampu Werima.
The hurricane lamp, they brought a hurricane lamp
Eo Dundi Konoto.
and they put it inside.
Atenin Keba Sise,
This Keba Sise,
Ning Wati Botala,
after some time,
Asina,
he would come,
Ase Dunkang,
he will come inside to me
Kankachandi,
and chat with me
Puruka Ninandi Kuolula Kolealula.
just to make me forget about the hardships of the place.
Bari Wokono Nyaonya,
But despite all of that,
Nataroje Womang Ndiming,
my presence there did not hurt me
Katui Mandeng,
because they did not insult me.
Moman Lipa,
Nobody beat me up.
Bari Ninadin Bayalu Kuntutanyonal.
But there was no communication between me and my family.
Nakuwe Filiru Wolmabake.
My thing was lost on them completely.
Fulanjao,
Secondly,
Ngangani Yominsodon Purnim Fama eta Pruka Assis Wafanantinyata.
the aim that I had to travel with my father and give him assistance, that too was not possible. That also saddened me a lot.
Sabanyao,
Thirdly,
Nadu Kuomemina Ninkum Lotale.
the work that I was engaged in, as it was, stopped.
Na program ol belo tala kak.
All of my programs came to a halt.
Wafanayem ndimin kuol kono bake.
That also hurt me, amongst other things.
Walatina.
That is why
Kebanyin kanaje.
Keba used to come there
Kankachandi.
and chat with me
Kanyinandi wol dolula.
just to make me forget some of these things.
Kaitan nefana mojamale tamita ninjanna.
And also to remind me that many other people have passed through this road.
Wanyao
Despite all of that,
nim fanoketa.
each morning,
Ning minil bina somondala.
those that come on morning duties,
Kana juna domonding.
they come a little bit earlier.
Se daele.
They will open up the door
Entara siring.
and they will find me sitting down
Safo nyela khairala.
and they will ask if I slept well.
Safo ha.
I will tell them yes,
Safo ntoluka seile.
and then they will tell me we are going home.
Dolle binaja.
Some others will come.
Mbole kono.
We were in that situation.
Bari mo kilimbe nunje ma tolon nak.
But there was one person there whose name I did not know.
Bari ala ma kawon siata no back.
But he was too noisy.
Kala fila silandi la mulunke.
He always wants to frighten me somehow.
Bari nata nyini nkara kala kuola.
But I inquired about his affairs.
E konya 13 baji do malem.
And they told me that he was 13 Baji's younger brother.
Wokono.
In all of that,
ngala kibaro di kebalal nak.
I gave his report to Kiba
Kaitandala ko nyi wato do la kala file kante silandi.
to inform him that this individual occasionally tries to intimidate me.
Bari wotatna lantanga silad.
But that will not make me afraid or intimidated.
Bari wokola.
But after all of that,
imanna fenkentela je.
they did not do any other thing to me
Kaso kono je.
inside the prison.
And this 13 Baji you're referring to, you had already said he was the IGP at the time, is that correct?
Ako nyintatin baji. Utumo atafana mbijele numba wotembo bang kasola je bang abelu kola jele fomne.
Domanya, doma 13 baji doma.
Doma, his younger brother.
Abedu kola jafana mu security letije.
He was working there as a security.
Yes, and I'm asking you to confirm whether he, 13 Baji, was the IGP at the time.
Ako folungo tembo 13 baji fangolong Inspector General to tembo bang.
Otuma telebije.
Yes, at the time, he was the one there.
And you still haven't told us about Ansumana Kujabi. You went together to Janjangbure.
Ako nimbi mang ansumala la kumo fanyende. Alu atele tata nyola Janjangbure bang.
What happened to him?
Mimi nata kiala.
Tansumana nate ntalata janjamburele kabri yente jindi je ate manji moto kono ya ate continue butu malo ina tata samada mari mate jindi inte jita dami.
We separated in Janjambure. While I alighted, he was left in the vehicle, and I did not know where else he was taken to.
Do you know where he alighted?
Foyalon between ya samba da member wala ya jindi da men.
Ani motolo.
No, I don't know that.
But you can confirm that he was not at Janjanbure prisons during the time you were there.
Bari isinyin tonya andi no ko ata famo mantara Janjambure kasola wato mete bije.
Hani imata jindi je.
No, he was not brought out of the vehicle there.
Were you eventually released?
Fo ina tebula le bang.
Dalilol kam.
Yes, but on reasons.
Kabiring deo meta.
After there was silence for a long time,
Kumabukafo.
no statement was made.
Na molbe jakalli.
My family was confused.
Ibe borla karo bela.
They were running helter-skelter.
Mol nata soto.
Then there were some individuals.
Milbe ko namuso fama.
One like my wife's father,
Fatmata Hydara.
Fatmata Hydara.
Kafa Sheikhuna Hydara.
They call her Sheikhuna Hydara.
Akwanyanta villa nyinkualale.
She said, you have to rise up and do something about this matter.
Naliye date ibe nyina lalale.
If you keep quiet like this, they will forget about him.
Barali wili aliye lawyer ata.
But do something, take up the services of a lawyer,
Aliya bulala kuonoma.
and find out about his case.
Tumolo namuso nata wili Fatmata Hydara.
That was when my wife, Fatmata Hydara,
Atatan teri madoya.
went to one of my friends.
Tolle karanta nyonna.
We went to school together.
Atana labantala Sudan.
He ended up in Sudan.
Ay karan labanje.
That was where he completed his education.
Anata ke kadit.
Then he became a Qadi.
Ake birkama abenu wolto.
He was in Brikama,
Barsa abe bundung.
but now he is in Bundum.
Kafa Lamin Sise.
His name is Lamin Sise.
Kabirani wakachata.
After she discussed with that man,
Aka entanga lawyer lon nensitaje.
he said to her, I know a lawyer, we shall go there.
Aka enkafnyo mabalem.
He said to her, he's a good friend of mine,
Kafo Bori Ture.
and his name was Bori Ture.
Inatata Boria.
They eventually went to Bori
Ye kuoli senkangaye.
and narrated things to him.
Akoy bismillah.
He said to them, okay.
Akoy sa mbeta adami.
He said to them, now where we are going to,
Wala ngata high court.
that is to go to the High Court
Ngala kuo nyininka.
and inquire about his case,
Amutata min dalila la kamba.
the reasons for which he was arrested for.
Bari Bori nying.
But Bori,
Manna nchachi fenna de.
he did not charge us anything
Bari jo faele.
because they spoke to him about the payment.
Ako hani.
But he said, no,
Nyilmu moleti mose makoy doro.
these are people who are deserving of assistance,
Pour finance fen soto alaya.
so that we too will get something from God.
O kamalante fanan bakela fi sabilillah.
For that reason, I am also going to do it for gratis.
Man fen nyinin kalibulu.
I am not demanding anything from you.
Bori
Bori,
Qadi Lamin Sise
Qadi Lamin Sise,
ani Fatmata Hydara
and Fatimata Hydara
itata high court.
went to the High Court.
Utmo nimanyina Abdul Karim lebije.
At that time, if I am not forgotten, Abdul Karim was there.
Bori e nyininka
Bori asked them
ko
that
Who was Abdul Karim?
Jumalum Abdul Karim.
Abdul Karim ita atelemu milibenu high court atelemu bela kebatinu.
he was the head of all those that were at the High Court.
Are you referring to Abdul Karim Savage?
Wala faum.
Yes, he is the very one.
And was he the Chief Justice at the time?
Akotembo folem Chief Justice.
Atelem.
Yes, he was the one.
Very well, continue, please.
Akabetata teng.
Kabirin Bori e nyininka
when Bori asked them, they told him to give us some time so that we can also make our inquiries.
Police.
We will go to the police.
NIA.
We will go to the NIA.
Serious crime.
We will go to the serious crime.
CID.
We will go to the CID and inquire about his case. Then they left there. And they gave them a few days. About a week. They returned there again. Bori asked them what they have found out. They said they have not been able to have any clear thing about his case so far. We have not heard where he made any statement. And we have also not heard where he has done anything. But allow us some time to go back again and conduct more inquiry. They gave them again about 1 week. And they returned again. Bori asked them, how are things? They said, up till now, we have not found anything. We have not also heard anything about his issue. Bori said to them, then he must be on bail. They told him they will go back and investigate about his case again. He said to them, but this time around, when I return, I will make sure that he gets bail. He returned. That day too, they did not have any reason. He said to them, then how I see things, by the law, this man has to get a bail. Because what he's been arrested for is unknown. And even if what he was arrested for were known, the time that he has spent in detention, he shouldn't have spent that time without appearing before a competent court of law. You yourselves know that so therefore, let us all work by the dictates of the law. That was the day that they accepted. They said, now, who will guarantee him? My wife, Fatoumata Hydara, said, I am going to guarantee him. They told her 50,000. She said, okay. She left her ID card there. They said they were going to prepare the bail so that I could be bailed. That day, before they left there, they ensured that all the bail documents were prepared. And they gave them the bail document. So that I would be bailed and come out of Makati and return home.
Do you remember the day this order was made?
If I am not forgotten, I think I have the document. The bail document is with me. The date will be on it. Probably, if we look at it, we will see it.
And do you have a copy of the document?
Yes, it's with me.
Can you please give it to the usher, please?
Yes, here it is.
Mr. Jallo will serve as our usher for today. Thank you very much, Mr. Jallo. Thank you very much. The order is dated the 31st of January 2005. Does that sound familiar?
2005 the date, sorry, 31st.
January.
January,
Yes.
How many days had you been in detention by this time?
Ngamin kalamuta wala mu yemuta karo tili tangolla.
What I am aware of was that I was arrested on the 10th of the month.
Yemuta wala ngola kalamuta.
That is what I am aware of when I was arrested.
And you were taken to Janjangbure 2 days after, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because you were arrested on the Monday and you got to Janjangbure on Wednesday.
Yes.
So that must have been the 12th day of the month.
Okay.
And the order for your release was on the 31st day of January 2005.
Yes.
Myself and the deputy lead counsel can't seem to calculate how many days it is. It's about 23 days or thereabouts.
Okay.
And when were you eventually released?
Later on, futatamalumina.
The day that the letter got to me,
The
day that I got the information, that was on a Monday. That information too, the manner in which I got it, on Monday, after prayers, I read the Quran. But that I saw something which
something wonderful. I saw something very wonderful that day.
Apparently it's strange, not wonderful.
Strange.
Okay,
strange.
Something strange.
Yes.
Thank you.
What was that strange thing? As I was reciting the Al-Quran, I got to a verse called Suratul Nahli.
Suratul Nahli damutadula.
At the beginning of that verse,
ata amurullahi fala tastajiluhu. Wakotodu.
The meaning of that is,
alala wato sita.
God's time has come.
Alala wato sita.
God's time has come.
Alakana koronto.
Do not be in a haste.
As
I was reading that verse,
Keba
Sise stood over me, who was in charge of the prisons. He said to me, Hydara, we've got information, we've got an order that we should release you. I said to him, yes indeed, the time has come. I said to him, that is what you found me on. I said, but before I leave, I want you to send me one of your juniors to shave me before I leave. He sent one of his juniors and he shaved my head. After I finished, he said to me, now you can prepare yourself and come out.
And so that is how you were finally released from detention at Janjangbure.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, just a matter of procedure, I would like to tender the order, the High Court order, that is dated the 31st day of January 2005. It's headed in the matter of an application for the release of Imam Alhaiba Hydara pursuant to Section 19 and Section 37(1) of the Constitution of the Gambia, and it is signed by Honorable Justice A.K. Savage as judge.
Request granted.
And the exhibit number is Exhibit 112. Thank you. Yeah, please proceed. Tell us what happened after you shaved your head Did you finally leave the prison?
Yes, I came out.
When I went out of the prison, I bowed down to thank the Almighty Allah.
Keba said to me, before you leave, let me call all my juniors so that you pray for us and you pardon us, because what we are doing is not our intention. We are just been handed over people to keep. When the time comes, they will tell us, hand them over to us. But despite all the time that I was in that prison, the people of the settlement were eagerly waiting to see me inside Makati itself. Because one of my uncles was there, Imam Hydara. He was there with his family. Information spread in the town. The feast that I prayed while I was in detention,
In the year 2005, I prayed the Tobaski prayer inside the prison.
the sacrifice that were slaughtered, the
sacrificial meat, the sacrificial sheep that were slaughtered inside the town.
Some people will even tell Keba, if you would accept, we could roast the liver and take it to serve at the prison. But the law would not accept that. But people were intending to do that.
And it is correct that you were supposed to have been in Mecca, like you said before, during the Tobaski.
Andung amunta wo tembo nyante tarla num makale wo banna salo be kala tumo men ka to tumo janni yemuta be pare kan num pour kata hijol.
Banna o kanyanto kala num makale.
Yes, the Tobaski I was to spend to mark in Mecca.
Nyanto kala world.
Should have done it there.
And you were supposed to accompany your father as well, and you lost the privilege of actually assisting and accompanying him there during that very tiresome journey.
Andung ilanga niyo munyetinum ini fama eta nyola bitung inyanta makoiro membe kala ifamala aninka loafe ka kulu mutafe amunta wobe na tabai wobe tinyata fente mfanyin ko.
Mien niaje mfamala ko fa wori back because kebale mo ajuso warta bakele.
My father's case worried me because he was elderly and he was someone who was
somebody who was very hearty. He had a very big heart for things.
Nina manta abe batalale.
If I didn't go with him, he might suffer.
There were things that he would insist on doing them by force. But what I feared was what came to pass. After he returned from Mecca, it did not go past 2 weeks. He got paralyzed. He was paralyzed on both legs and he was using a wheelchair. That was why I wanted to go with him, because I know his temper. That was what worried me. That did not fail to happen.
Did your father tell you how he also felt without your assistance in Mecca?
Ako foi fa fana nata foi ne ili letara balia Maka akitafe nyamenje.
Ali modo hijita nyonna.
He had the pilgrimage together with some other person.
Kabri setana.
When they returned home,
akonye Alhaiba.
He said to me, Alhaiba,
combatant da bamma.
That means, Alhaiba, what you did for your father.
Ni momi ko hodum.
I asked him what was that.
Way kam bamma yidi made.
The reply he gave me was that your father loves you very well.
E der ko min wondi ko Makka fof.
The period we spent together in Makkah,
so jodi ma ha boy,
if he sits down for a little while,
Please take your time, Imam.
ya luman.
akafanya bamma yidi made.
He will tell me, your father loves you very, very well.
Do min ngoni fof.
Wherever we happen to sit together,
So jodi ma ha boy,
if he sits down for a while,
o ya Alhaiba.
he will utter your name Alhaiba.
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 Way kam mi andi bamma yidi ma.
That's what made me to know that your father loves you very well.
Dum o hali in hamin arti.
He said the old man continued saying that all the time until they came back home.
Wobe kuol kono mili mbatandi bake.
That was amongst the things that disturbed me a lot.
Wakambala.
Because of that.
Therefore,
Kabirim mebola makati kaso kono.
while I was leaving the Makati prison,
It was in
the morning between 10 and 11.
But
when I left the prison, the people of the town would not allow me to leave. They came and welcomed me. I went to my father's at Alhaji Suleiman Hydara. I discussed with him for a short while. There's one compound there. They are Ture Kunda people. Because Hydara, Ture and Sise, they have a joking relationship. And he said to him, Sirifo, if you would allow him to come to my house and spend the day with us.
Then
we will also do the little bit that we are able to do the best we could. So this is the joking relationship that is existing between individuals. Between the Tures and the Hydaras. And the Sises and Hydaras. I went and spent the day there. But the time that I was leaving that place, so that I could get close to people, it was about 11 p.m. in the night. That was when I was able to escape.
Thank you very much, Imam. I know this was a very difficult time for you and your father. Whilst you were celebrating Tobaski in Janjanbureh prisons, he was also celebrating Tobaski in Mecca without you. And although I have never been to Mecca, I know that it is a very hazardous journey. It is very difficult, especially for elderly people. And usually they would need the assistance of someone else. And that is why you wanted, that is why it was your intention to go with your father from the onset. And I know it is because your father wanted that assistance from you. That is why he kept calling your name all the time, perhaps when he got tired or frustrated.
Kondung ayalom fana wala ya kendi fama katu ito fala wati o wati ninga batata wala ning ay kuje me yalon ko aketa e deun koti.
So we empathize with you on the way that you felt.
Bitung we lunte tela nyaming bitung kule me yalon ko ayam fanal balafa.
And you've already said that he got paralyzed after he came back from Mecca within 2 weeks.
Yenyim fanam fonyanko bira setan kabona maka lokum fulan drong wuce kono ala ya singolu muta.
What do you believe was responsible for that?
Itela miraroto muneyo sababu.
Wala ngami fo keba nyinga juso wartale.
This is what I said. The old man had a big heart.
Maka dulalu bije konkole mselo ninjio.
In Mecca, there are other places that are hilly. You have to climb up and down.
Atala keba be tembo minto.
And I know that given the state of his age,
teba mira la fakatama kata kaba to kamuru na wale barajo be warla.
He would be of the belief that walking to the Kaaba on foot and back would be more rewarding.
And asatara atala keba bita nyanta moto le tala pur kata kana.
But given his age, you should have taken a vehicle to and fro.
And wale kata manson bulala moto la katala kana.
And that was what happened. He would not accept to use a vehicle. He was walking to and fro.
Janna kana athara afasolu korta.
Before he will return back, his veins will all be tired.
Ay nyimfanam fo nyenala kacha kono.
He also said this to me during the course of our discussions.
Tawafo kono.
That during the tawaf,
ay kole ya ku soto nje bake.
He had a lot of difficulties there.
Oya singol fanana lanjuro la faele.
And that also made his legs suffer the complications they suffered eventually. That was upon his return when he told me this.
And who would you blame for you not being able to assist your father and provide that necessary guidance that he needed at that time?
Akosilang, itabe jumale tumila, me ya kendi, hanufo, itanyanta makoiro mendi la ifama la wo wuche okono, hijo okono, imana okeno, saying ibe jumale chodi la kafu nyine ya kendi manyinkeno mfamae.
Minko ye mutankanata.
The one that said that I should be arrested so that I will not go.
And who was that?
Wale mujumati.
Yaya Jame.
Yaya Jame.
So you blame Yaya Jame for your father's paralysis?
Amunta silang efa mala singol la muto woto asababo ya atumiro la Yaya Jame leka.
Nimose mo bulo mutade mo sate bulo mutanol.
If somebody has to hold someone's hand as the person who is responsible for this, it should be his hand.
And is your father still alive?
Ani
abantale.
No, he's late.
And please accept our sympathy. When did he pass away?
Ise haketu mbe konton na usangola ala sita mawati jumale.
Sanji sabako manto sai.
3 years back, I can say.
Please take us through your narration of what happened after you left the celebrations in Janjanbureh, after you enjoyed the hospitality of those people who celebrated the Tobaski feast that you had missed for you. Tell us what happened after and how you eventually got home.
Saying istenten ya fanyeng Janjanbureh briye bula ini omulu menu tatanyoka ye bunya badila hanfo inata bo ton tumomen na inata boje wati jumale botaje nyaadi le foka seinang anin kol fanalu nata la bula nyono ma nyaadi le
kabring namolu namuso
when my wife
Fatumata Hydara anin na talibo Sheikh na Kanyi
and my student Sehna Kanji,
wale wilta moto nyini wala.
They went to look for a vehicle.
Bari nkafunyo malmil be benu mansakunda doku wala.
But all of my friends who were in government, working in government,
motol be bulle.
They had vehicles,
bari manhani.
But they were scared.
pour que la moto dinna musola
to give their vehicles to my wife
anina talibo
and my student
pour katanka mana makati
so that they could come to Makati and pick me up.
ala nate hakilo bulande
God reminded them.
mkafnyoma do bije
There was one other friend of mine
businessman olem
who was a businessman
Brikama
in Brikama.
kafa Mahmoud Diallo.
He is called Mahmoud Diallo.
Pikopo babulu
He has a pickup.
itata wala ya
They went to him.
Kaito dina purungata Imam Kama.
They said to him, we have been given a document so that we could go and pick up the Imam.
Bari mam moto soto de.
But we don't have a vehicle.
Kato akafnyon milbe man sakunda moto be bule bari man hanyingela moto use.
Because all of his friends who are working in government have vehicles, but they are scared to allow us to use their vehicles.
Sa lafta yem fuila pikopo la ngata
Now we want you to borrow us your pickup so that we could go and pick him up.
Wo pikopo le tatankama.
That was the pickup that came to pick me up.
Wol futata je juna le nak.
They came there, they arrived early,
Bari saate mol man songa funti.
but the people of the village would not allow me to leave.
Nkontonta jele,
I had lunch there,
simanta jele,
I had dinner there
for talantanding killing.
until 11.
Inata kuma ferry tiyole bak tiyole.
Then they spoke to the people running the ferry service
Ka fo so ise ma ko no yente indu suto.
to ask them if they could please take me to the other side of the river that night.
Inata ntein.
And that was how I was taken to the other side of the river.
Na suto bele boride.
We ran the whole night
Bari silo mambete awotumo.
because the road was not good that time.
Mbefutala Brikama suba.
When we got to Brikama, it was daylight, dawn.
Bari janning kananak
But before we came
kabo makati.
from Makati,
Yenna dimbale funtindi airport le kotas.
they brought
They decided to
removed my family from the quarters that we were at the airport
Katu melung sabatiring kotas airport kono to jele.
because I was resident at the quarters inside the airport.
Bar kabri muta
But when I was arrested,
director mimbenunje
the director who was there then,
kafaye Maimuna Tal
they called her Maimuna Tal.
atatanna mosque committee chairman ya.
She went to the chairman of our mosque committee
Ko bayring imam man sakunda ya mutale.
and said, since the imam is being detained by the government,
Alafa ala dimbali funti kotas nonte ntafana na palaso kantatinya.
tell him that his family should leave the quarters, otherwise my position is also going to be in jeopardy.
Wakaya hanide.
And he said to her, no,
Ntamanya na folaye.
I am not the one who's supposed to tell him.
Mimbe marling civil aviation na kotas la tafoe wale right pour katafaye.
The one responsible for the quarters at the civil aviation is the one you should be saying this to.
Atata oya
She went to him.
ikafo Suleiman Jabang
They call him Suleiman Jabang.
ayafoe.
She told him,
Wakaya nto ntetitajede
and he said to her, for me, I am not going there.
ntetitajede
I will not go there.
ayafaye koteke.
And he told her again.
Aka ntetitajede.
She told him again, and he said, I am not going there.
Sabanjao
For the third time,
namuso konye ko
my wife told me that,
Fatma Hydara.
Imam Hydara.
Maimuna Tal fangole moto mala fokotas.
Imam Tal got into our vehicle and drove all the way to the quarters
Aka Fatmata
and said to her, Fatumata,
nali kontonta
after you've taken your lunch,
mbe moto sambala na
I will bring a vehicle
aliye finti.
so that you could vacate.
Fatmata ka ente konton batula.
Fatumata said to her, we shall not wait for lunch.
Nga durang min jonki mbole yele malambita fajin la Brikama la ngala bambari janten.
The granule soup that I am cooking now, I will not allow it to be ready. We will take it along and continue the cooking in Brikama.
Ay durang yele mawala nyama.
And so she took the granule soup and transferred it.
Aka moto min fane ka faytete moto sambala ntol fangole be moto nyinda mimbe mfindendela.
And she said to her, and the vehicle that you are saying that you will bring it. In fact, we are going to look for a vehicle ourselves and get out. That was the day they left.
Did she tell you when this was? How long into your detention they were evicted?
aya foye wa lumme ye muta ani lumme tel bota bungo kono kafinti a wuce wa tilijelleta
etol man tambi je lo kun kelin
They were not there more than a week.
e man tambi wala je
They did not spend more than that.
maymuna ko aman hanye taraje kanta bay
Maimuna said she was scared that they be there without being evicted.
wala na ifuntita juna.
That was why they went out early.
I'm not too sure whether the interpretation was correct, but it was whether or not, how long into his detention were they evicted from the property?
He said that it was barely a week when they left the house, when Maimuna came to them and they decided to leave.
Thank you very much for that. And who appointed you as the airport imam?
Jumale tombo mfongo ka airport almami ya dila.
Director General min benunje ka fa Alhaji Mam Said wala ya adina.
Director General who was there then, and his name was Alhaji Mam Said.
And of which institution are you referring to?
Akodo kubunda juma ubewol tonu.
Janninga na jeba.
Before I came there, you mean?
Ani me palaso nyindila me dinkira nyin me yeke alimamoti me alimamiya doko dila pour yetra airport almamiya la.
Abenum palaso maldo. Wala matele mu Director General to Civil Aviation.
That was the Director General at the Civil Aviation Department.
And what position did Maimuna Tal occupy at that time?
Maimuna Tal atebe nyinkela tumena atebe palace jumalto.
Wolu ngatele seta Mam Said Jallo noto Director General yala.
That very day, she was the one that replaced Dr. Alhaji Mam Said as Director General.
Very well. And you've already told us that this benefit that you had, which is the staff quarters at the airport, was associated with your appointment as airport imam.
Amunta ila taro airport la quarters konoje amunta ila almamiya kake airport jami'u la almamoti wala na yo palaso dila purini dimbali etaraje.
Barin jami'u nyi amanke komansa kundala ya lo.
Yes, because the mosque was not built by the government.
Jami'u nyi soto tanyami.
The way that the mosque was came about.
Airport taxi mil katara airport sansan kono drive folu.
The taxis that are usually within the airport, the drivers.
Iko itolu ninjumalu sita nim flight ul jita jumo ke danne.
They said that when prayer time arrives or comes on Fridays and there are flights, they usually miss the Friday prayers.
Sa ilafte be jami'u nyinin na ni sa lono airport okono.
So they said they wanted to find ways and see how they could be able to build a mosque within the airport.
Inata committee lo.
They established a committee.
Ye keba jammeta.
And they appointed Keba Jame.
Atemu flight safety la manager at civil aviation yake chairmanoti.
He was the flight safety manager at the civil aviation and he was made the manager.
Ye Secretary General Tombo.
They selected a Secretary General.
Abdallah Tikani. Afanamu engineer director of civil aviation.
He was also director of engineering at the civil aviation.
Wolle kafolo.
They set up the association.
Ye letter o safe.
They wrote a letter
kata Africa Muslim Agency.
To the Africa Muslim Agency.
Kafo lafta jame wala airport okono.
To tell them that they wanted to have a mosque at the airport.
Wolko enali keno soto.
They said to them, if you would have the space, we would build it. They came back to Mam Said.
Director General.
They said to him, you are the Director General. We sought to have a mosque from the Africa Muslim Agency. They said if we have the space, they will build the mosque. And for the land, you are the one who will give it to us. You have the powers to do that. He said to them, I will also give you a land. And it was through his authority as the Director General, the space for the mosque was acquired. Yeah, the reason why I am saying all of this, Mandinka say, if you see that you know everything, it means everything was said to you.
Katu doliya mira nufo mansakundale jame olo ya jamelente appoint kankije almamutu mo jama wole mira.
Because some people thought that the mosque was built by the government, that Yaya Jammeh was the one who built the government and I was under his employ.
Kabrin jame olo ta banta.
After the mosque was built and completed,
itate ko mamsete jame o bantale.
They went to Mamsek and said to him, the works on the mosque is now completed.
African Muslim Agency.
He said to them, inform African Muslim Agency.
African Muslim Agency ko sa alfa lebe almamo tombonna.
African Muslim Agency said to them, now you will have to choose the imam yourselves. Because if we gave you an imam, maybe you will not be able to pull on the same line with him.
Committee tata mamsetia.
A committee went to Mamset.
Inamita.
They met with him.
Ya fae.
And they told him.
Mamset ko sa momo etajibeta lata minna almame ilata la almame alalia fa maria ina nae kacha.
Mamset said to them, now all of you, whichever imam you know that you trust, inform him and let them come here. They said to him, there is someone with us here called Yaya Toure. He's been here for a long time. And he's a staff of the civil aviation. And he's somebody who is knowledgeable. Mamset said to them, I know him. But he cannot become the imam. For two reasons or even three. First of all, the Arabs built this mosque. Therefore, if there was to be an imam, it has to be someone who understands the Arab language. That imam should not have an interpreter between him and the Arabs. Secondly, if somebody is working in a particular place, as a staff, some people don't respect him, and an imam has to be respected. Thirdly, the airport is very sensitive. People come and people go. Somebody has to be here who is level-headed. Go and look for another person. When you have that person, Yaya can be his assistant. After they dispersed, the chairman, Keba Jammeh, knows me. I used to go with the Arabs. I used to interpret for them. I used to do interpretation. And he knows that I speak many languages. And he came and told Mamset, I have someone. Mamset said to him, invite him so that I could discuss with him. He took me to Mamset.
Imam, thank you very much. And that is basically how you became the first Imam of the airport.
Yes.
And whilst your family was being evicted, were you still appointed as Imam of the airport?
No, at that time I was not yet back from Makati. They were evicted in my absence. At that time I was not yet back.
Yes, I understand that, Imam. That is why I'm asking whether or not you were still under the appointment of the Gambia Civil Aviation Authorities at that point when they were being evicted.
Ako ha abari hanimbi fo tembo kangonyin ka fo ya almamiya taibulu fo wa hanimbi wo kangofutate malabam fo
ane yalo wotumo hani sa intale mo almamo to katu milia dinna wal ma tambulu mi ya tambulu ma dinna.
No, you know, even up till now, I am still the imam. Because the people who appointed me imam, they have not taken it away from me. Those who took it away from me were not the people who gave it to me.
At that point, when you were in Janjanbureh, had you been dismissed? When your family was being evicted?
Watu mebe Janjanbureh bela dimbaya lufonglu fintindi kang tumomena. Fo yatarle ya almameya ya foyende ko ya taibulle bang.
Ani mo fonyi.
No, they did not tell me that.
So you were still entitled to the benefit of that accommodation?
Amunta hanimbi woto ning nyanto betamala wo nyanta tarlale hanimbi ila dimbali e taraje folo katu man almame ya tebulu
ade
Yes.
Please continue from there and tell us what happened after that.
akoyeten bitun ya fanya wokola mune natake
abrin nata mam setia
When I came to Mom said,
akonye ntolle ngeki
he said to me, we called for you
proyeke almamo tija
so that you could become the imam
Ma'am,
here.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we have actually finished on that subject. I just want you to go on. After you found out that your family had been evicted, just tell us what happened to you afterwards.
ha akonga wo fanna ngawo fahamle sai biring inata nyin kibaro soto ko ila dimbaya lu fintindile etel dan fana nata muruna mune natake
kabirinta na rambota makatin tata direct mbita malaya
When I came from Makati, I went straight to my in-law
Brikama
in Brikama
salandingot
by the bridge.
njita waleto
I alighted there.
mol kana njibe waleto
People used to come to visit me.
mfama la bona kana kabona makka kana entara waleto
The return of my father from Mecca found me there.
kabirin fama nata
When my father came,
ndarada nambadibu
I accompanied him to Badibu
ka bunya
to honor him.
mbe waleto lokun kilim fulanja
We were there 1 week. The second week,
nga call soto koteke
I had a call again.
e konye ko na report Banjul police station
They said, come and report to the Banjul police station.
And before we get to that, you already mentioned that you had been bailed by your wife for $50,000. Is that correct?
ya ninga futa woto yenyu mfanya ko ila musole bel dalas wuli talulu fo mutonyal
Yes.
Were you reporting on bail?
fo e ga fene kate danku ila le kata danku la je belo ko to watini wati
ani nko kabirin nga call soto ko nan dankum Banjul police station
No, when I got the call, they told me to come and answer at the Banjul police station.
wo benta jumali ngol fe malon kar jumalom nak
That was on a Friday, but I cannot remember the exact month.
Yes, the question is before that, did you have to report on bail?
ako wonte amaw fa ko wayri ye belle fo du nie mo bele ka fene sikarina jang ni lunkari wani ni wati kari fo yo fo fanay
ani mo fonte
No, they did not tell me that.
kabirin natan dankun jumalungo
When I came to answer on that Friday,
ntatate jata balde ya koteke
I went to Jata Balde again.
And regarding the bail, did the court give you a date for another appearance for you to come to court?
fo biri ye bel fo ka pare fo kiti bunda nyi nata lungo fo yende lumen inyanta muruna kanalo kito nyati lula
ani mo fanya
No, they did not tell me that.
And it had already been established that you had done nothing wrong. Is that correct?
allo wotumo nyin senayata ko ite man femfenke
Yes.
And had you been charged with any offense at this point?
alum fo yatarle ye tumi kula ka fo ite nyin ku kar leke
ani
No.
And do you know why you were released then on bail?
sai fo ya lonne ba muna na inate ibula ka fo ye belle
ani
No.
I'm just saying that because usually reporting on bail or perhaps being given bail means that you have been charged with a criminal offense, and that is to secure your appearance before a court on a subsequent date.
ako niaja bobe nyin kala karo ni ko ye kari belle wo katarle ye tumi ko nyin ku kari nyin kukurun kar leke woto isikarne danku janila kito lungo wala isikarne na danku janila kulbebe bola nyoto ako wala na bobe nyin kakam
So you never reported to court?
munta bitu manna ta kitola
ani
No.
So when you answered to the Banjul Police Headquarters, what happened there?
sai mbiri ye kumandiro la kataba nyunu police munaketa
ngontara jata balde la office koteke
I said I went to Jata Balde's office again.
akonye ntolle ngekili
He said to me, we are the ones that called you,
bari ngekili dalilo minna
but the reason why we called you,
mansa kunda ko ye kodo min dila pour haj guide kodo yejo minna e ko yajo
the government said that the monies that was given to you as a Hajj guide, that you should repay the money.
nkai kajo
I asked to repay the money.
ako ha
He said yes.
kai munatina
I asked, what is the reason?
akonya katu ya dila min kam may make
He said to me, because the purpose for which the money was given, you did not do. That is to go to Mecca and become a guide. I said to him, but I did not refuse to go. I was arrested and hidden away, and I did not go. That is the reason why I could not go. I think if I was the one who on my own volition refused to go, then you could say that I should repay the money. And secondly, when that money was given to me, I was supposed to go together with my father. And I should also leave something with my family. I distributed that money. Today where we are, I don't have anything left of that money. He said to me, well, they said that you should repay the money. I asked when. They said, he said now. Today in fact. I said to him, well then, return me back to Makati. Because where will I get the money from? He asked me, so now, when will you be able to pay the money? I said to him, the day that you are being tied, when you are going to be untied, don't say the day, don't say which day you are going to be untied. I said to him, to be pressed will not lead me into telling lies. The Wolof said, to be thirsty should not make you drink muddy water.
Sorry, Mr. Interpreter. Oh my God. Mr. Interpreter, please
I think
interpret that again.
To be thirsty shouldn't lead you to drink water that things were washed with.
Soapy water, perhaps?
Soapy water, maybe. after things were
Thank you very much. We are really struggling today.
Therefore, I said to him, I cannot tell you which day I will pay this money because I don't have it. He said to me, today is Friday, here against Monday, can you get the money? I said to him, no, because the money was not in my hand. He asked me, so now, how are you going to go about it? I said to him, since you said that the money should be repaid, I will go. Any day I have it, you will see me. I will pay it.
And when were you paid this money?
The money, usually, they give it to us a week before our travel date. Sometimes it's in a check. Probably it could be in that paper, and if you look at it, the paper that was given to me, possibly the date will be there. But they used to give us the money a week before our travel so that we could run our own errands. That's when they gave us the money. He said to me, go. I came. I went to my in-law, my wife's father, Fatumata.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Imam, but I just wanted to know who made a demand for this money.
The
one that told me to repay the money was Jata Balde.
Did you receive a demand from the Gambia Civil Aviation Authorities?
Gambia Civil Aviation Authority la mulubulu.
They did not demand it.
My mistake, actually, it's GIA, Gambia International Airlines, not GCCA.
Akwa filitala amanyana kila GCCA ti wala Gambia Civil Aviation. Anyanda kila GIA ti wala Gambia International Airlines.
They did not demand.
Please proceed.
Ako etente.
Amfutata mbitamma.
I got to my in-law.
Akonye yekili munela.
He asked me, what was the reason for calling you?
Nkae yalon katato na lafte nyininna.
I said, you know, when a troublesome person is trying to get you into trouble,
Nimmo lafte katala.
if somebody wants to trouble you,
Akeda ni nyankare kungolela, nyankaro dun kuntala.
he will beg you for the head of a crab. And we know that a crab doesn't have a head.
Niyo jalafte katala.
If you see that happening, the guy wants to trouble you.
Bari nkodi mingado me kongole jo.
Because money that I have already spent is what they are now asking me to repay.
Anda tembulu.
And that money is not with me.
Akonye ningole batna la ini e fatanyo mademba kodo dilal tene lungo etajo.
He said to me, if that would be the reason why you would be free from these people, then on Monday I will give you the money so that you could repay them.
Barjani wabekela.
But before that happened,
Jata balde kumata Jawara Turea.
Jata Balde said that I should go to Jawara Toure's place.
Nko Jawara e konga kodojo.
I said to Jawara, well, I repay the money.
Akonye naba.
He said to me, come.
Nkafunyo mabale.
He is a great friend of mine.
Ndunta bungo kono.
We went into the house.
Aida soro.
He locked the door.
Konyalo lafta minfole.
He said to me, do you know what I want to tell you?
Dalila tije imutata minna de.
There is no reason for your arrest.
Dalila tije de.
There is no reason.
Barisaye mbe dolingo millaka.
But now, the bait that we are going to spread out,
Puriye bula kono ngemuta.
so that you can take the bait and will arrest you,
Wala mnyinkodoti.
is this money.
Ne nyinkodojo ite amo ila koteke ila kumo befola.
When you repay this money, you will not hear anything again being said about your case.
Wotonte ni ite temo.
So therefore, between you and I,
Please hani badingo lebe bulo faile nyonka yajo.
please, even if it means your relatives contributing to repay this money,
Wale kafunyo li terolu.
or your friends, your loved ones,
Nye nyinjo.
if you repay this money,
Isaje sekara.
you will see that you will escape.
Nkai bismillah.
I said, well,
Mbita ngajibe.
I will go and look into it.
Wala na kabirina ngafo mbita ye.
So that's why when I came and told my in-law,
Akonye niwo damale batnale niye fatanyo mebe fatale male.
he said to me, and if that is the only reason that will make you escape from them, then you will be separated with them.
Ay kodo konte.
He counted the money,
Wil tansaba.
30,000,
Ayadin.
and gave it to me.
Tenelu on tata.
On Monday, I went back.
Tata Jawara Turea.
I went to Jawara Toure.
Nkae ko mimbe mutala ni wala mde nana atale.
I said to him, well, you said what will hold me, I have it, I'm here with it.
Nakodo konte ngadi ala na mofulo.
I counted the money and gave it to him, the two of us.
Nin sabanjambe na fo alade.
If there was a third person, it would be God.
Nkae sae fo ninga kodo jo fente di la naba.
I said to him, now, if I repay the money, will I not have anything?
Akonya hata mbina risito topotola.
He said to me, just go, we will prepare the receipt.
Mbije
I was there,
risiti manna.
no receipt came.
Nkafunyo mado bije poliso.
One of my companions, who was a police officer,
Nkae tenga kodo jole de poliso li abari imam fendin na.
I said to him, well, I have paid some monies to the police, but they have not given me any receipt.
Akonye bule no made nyanta risito di lelal.
He said to me, follow them. They should give you a receipt.
Kabringa aton nyafu abambanta.
When I held his neck and held it tightly,
Tani nasiata.
and there was a lot of going and coming,
Ay kaitin no safe adin.
he wrote a little paper on a little paper and gave it to me.
Manna lo woketa nyami.
I don't know if you know how that ended up.
Baring ani master sane so safe no la ko nyafele.
Because I know that even Master Sane could just write that and tell me, here it is.
O kamala
Therefore,
kodo nyin wo ngojo wala nyama.
I paid this money that way.
Kabira bota olunna.
After that day,
Kabiri ngo kodo jo.
after I paid that money,
Imanna nkili kote.
they never called me again.
So you were never given an official receipt, is that what you're saying? It was just written on a plain paper?
Amunta imang receipt dadarim pareri ngo chika kawoda de ye. Amunta itelie kaito mendila be safaring kaiti kense wala bala.
Yes.
And do you know whether the Gambia International Airlines got this money?
Ako fo inata nyin lonne Gambia International Airlines inata nyin kodo sotole bang.
That is not clear to me because I did not pay to them. This transaction happened between the two of us.
Just to summarize what you have said, you have told us that the authorities themselves, i.e. the police, told you that you had done nothing wrong.
Yes.
And it is the same authorities that prevented you from going to the Hajj that were now demanding that you pay back that money, which they did not give you in the first place.
And mo kilimul ko yewo kolo jo me ya kendi adu kolo le wo mutaro le ya kendi ite manta hijola sai wo mo kilimul kana muru ko yewo kolo jo.
Yes.
You have already confirmed that GIA made no demand for this money.
And yenyum fuko GIA fango wolu manyin kolo kan.
As far as you know.
Ite bota men kala.
Ani wol mankani.
No, they did not demand.
And therefore you already also told us that you paid to the police.
And yenyum fanam fanyanko ye kolo di menda munta wo police la karol.
Andata jo police wala Jawara Toure ya.
Yes, I paid to the police to Jawara Toure.
And you said that you were issued with a plain receipt and it was not a formal receipt.
Amunda ye kaiti koi safari ngole dila bara manke receipt dadari ngoti.
Yes.
And as far as you know, did that money actually get to GIA?
Ako bitung ite bunata bokul kala manyami wokolo lunga na tafuta GIA leba.
Auman ko yimmade.
That is not clear to me.
Whether
it reached there or not, I did not know anything about it.
But GIA
was aware that money was being taken from me. But they did not tell me it was us.
And
they did not also tell me that the money got to them.
But
the person that I paid to is Jawara Toure, and it was only the two of us.
Do you have a copy of this receipt?
Ako receipt fabe bulle bang.
Ani.
No.
Imam, you are under oath. Are you telling us that you really paid this money to Toure?
Imam ye kali oleke. To nyadum fodum yenyum kodo jo Toure yale bang.
Wallahi nimma nyin kodojo yemin fonye tombino hanisa mbe bulula katu Toure wala fanya ko nyin kodo le benni tema bar mi yellandi ko kodojo lolon kabrin nga kodojo nkanata wala fe nakuma man na fokote.
Yes, because what Toure told me, the two of us, was that they are planning to get hold of you again. But if you pay this money, that will be the end of your trouble with these people. So this is why I decided to get this money and pay it to them. And after paying this money, nobody ever talked to me about this case again.
Did you believe that you owed the authorities this amount of money which you repaid?
Akondu tonya ila tala ko nyili yo kolo men jowonya ananga bomu waletino.
Yes.
Interpretation, please.
Yes, that was the amount confirmed.
Yes, the question was whether he believed that he owed them.
For ila tala ko tonya ila kolo nyin ya abela lenu. Ya kolo nyin ko ya dila lenu. Jarning tabekela.
Apparently the interpretation is not accurate.
Imam.
Wakodo. Haniko juluntenko.
That was not
a debt.
Ya dinna kule kama.
They gave me it for a reason.
Sangol be ka dinna lenkata.
Each year they used to give me and I will go.
And ka dinna min kam manka kele.
And the reason that they gave it for, I used to do it. But this time around, the reason why I was unable to go is because they stopped me from going. Therefore, it wasn't the debt. It wasn't the debt.
And therefore, the reason why you paid was not because you owed them, but because you just wanted your freedom.
Amunta dalilo me yajo wala mnyinta manke ko itella julore bela bari ilafte fansoto le bulle.
Yes, just as I said, a lack of means is actually a means.
Mr. Witness, just bear with me whilst I make an application. Mr. Chairman, I would like to put as part of the record the appointment letter of the witness. It's referenced AGCD Hajj 006, and it's dated the 27th day of December 2004, and it is headed Appointment as a Guide for Hajj 2005. It's the appointment letter that is related to him being a Hajj guide in 2005, and exhibit number 113.
Request granted. Yeah, but we need to see it. Thank you.
Ma'am, please continue with your testimony.
After I repaid that money and went home,
Teneng,
on Monday, that Friday,
na chairman mosque committee keba jamme na tantara suoko.
The chairman of our mosque committee, Keba Jame, came to my house.
Akonye ngataita jumo salindi.
And he said to me, let's go so that you could lead the Friday prayers.
Katun telme bondi.
Because we did not remove you.
Ntolle ngeta.
We selected you.
Andu ngaje ko nyanta continue la jame ngotole.
And we see to it that you must continue your work at the mosque.
Ngo jumo salindi.
I led that Friday prayers.
Dan nin juma koteng.
Before the following Friday,
ate chairman keba jamme muruta nan kan koteke.
the chairman, Keba Jame, came back to me again.
Akonye
He said to me, well,
na director general Maimuna Tali yenkili ala office.
Our Director General, Maimuna Tal, called me to our office.
Allah Imam Alhaiba Hydara stop.
That your Imam, tell him to stop leading prayers.
Bari mansaya ate mutalenu.
Because the government had arrested him.
Ala kuwa mantra seneyari.
And his things are not very clear.
Ota Alhaiba Hydara stop.
Therefore, tell him to stop leading the prayers.
Akonye woto.
He said to me, therefore, leave for a moment. He said to her, but I think he was issued with an appointment letter. And if he should be fired or leave, he should be given a letter to that effect. She said to him, no, just go and tell him. He came and told me. I said, fine.
Do you know why the DG, Maimuna Tal, made those utterances? Why did he say that your business was not clear?
For yale no muna Director General Maimuna Tal yo kumol fo kafo ila ko man sene ya follow.
Bari yamutale
because I was arrested.
Kuma jamale kafo.
Many things were said.
Kuma lori man sota kuoto.
None of which could stand on its own.
Those
things that were said, whether any one of them was the truth, was not clear to her. Secondly, she was scared about her position. So that if I continued there, and she being the Director General, so that they would not, she would not run the risk of being moved. That was the reason why.
Yeah, please proceed.
Nata salindro stop.
I stopped leading prayers.
Na deputy BJ.
My deputy was there.
Moro Sise.
Called Moro Sise. May God have mercy on him. He's now late.
Or continuator.
He continued.
But
another Friday, I sneaked away from my people.
State House.
I said I was going to the State House.
Ya jamme senje.
So that Yajame could see me. So that he could tell me the reason for arresting me. My people were not aware of it. But when they saw me in the on television inside the mosque, and they asked, Alhaiba, did you go to the State House to pray? Because we saw that between you and Yaya Jammeh, there was only one person. I said to them, yes. They said to me, you went there to pray? I said, yes. They said, so what happened then?
Ko kabiri ngambandi de na nyon kontonne.
I said, after the press, we greeted each other.
Barama fen fonyet.
But he didn't say anything to me.
Murutana.
I returned.
Juma koteng.
The next Friday,
Nina chairman of Altara Keba Jamme.
I went there with my chairman, Keba Jamme.
Nkaite salibanta.
I said to him, you pray
Ndebita
outside.
sala konotole.
I am going inside to pray.
Ndunta koteke.
I went inside again.
Nsalta ofananto.
I prayed there again.
Ofanang.
That too,
Amam fen fonye.
he didn't say anything to me.
Wakita juma kumfulati.
That was the second Friday.
Kabiri obotala.
After that,
Juma saluo juma sal.
each other Friday prayers,
Nsita airport.
I will go to the airport
Nsesali.
and pray.
Bari mbuka fenkede.
But I never did anything.
Ani dua ni ko dua anko hani.
Even prayers, when they say prayers, I said no.
Kasali doron.
Just to pray, to do
Kafundi.
normal prayers. And
Nimban na salo sita.
when Tawaski comes,
Nkake jele.
we used to do it there.
Nkatale.
I used to go there.
Nin sunkar salo sita.
When Korite
Nkatale.
comes, I used to go there
Nkake jele.
and I will do it there.
Mbole nyama.
That was how I was
Fo meta mbita nkunda bake.
until I spent a long time at my in-laws' place.
Olo na muso famati Fatmata.
That's the father of my wife, Fatima.
Atra kordami mbente bulu.
And the house that was with that I had,
Kabirimbe mufla airport.
when I was moving from the airport,
Mfana ngankaf nyoma dole sambana nje.
I took one of my friends there.
Wole bedunje.
He was the one residing there.
So kabirimbo na makati.
So when I returned from Makati,
Mala fikate funtindi.
I did not want to evict him.
Ntata mbitaya.
I went to my in-laws.
Okola.
After that,
Nkaf nyoma na tandundi wilingara la korda kono.
one of my friends took me inside his house in Willingara.
Mbole to.
That was where I was
Fonna korda pareta.
until my house was ready,
Nsaunton na suoko.
and I transferred to my home.
Wolbe continue kan.
Things continued.
Omanna airport ta kundu.
That did not stop me from going to the airport.
Nkafe ofen soto nje nka sotole.
Whatever I used to get from the airport, I continued to get in it.
Wolbe continue kan.
Things continued
Fom futata.
until we got to a stage
Yala moda wala.
when there was change.
Please tell us what happened when there was change, and a change in what are you referring to?
Ako kolu falinta nyaadi le mun falinne fananketa wo fonyen.
Wala mu ngafo janko manto.
That is it. I said it earlier on.
Nko ban sabale be keri manika count.
I said there are 3 endings in the Mandinka language.
Adiata nyaonya abe bannale.
No matter how sweet it is, it will come to an end.
Ameta nyaonya abe bannale.
No matter how long it takes, it shall come to an end.
Akole ata nyaonya abe bannale.
No matter how difficult it is, it shall come to an end.
Wotumo kole ya fela banta.
That time, the difficulties have come to an end.
Ntebe lumu kono.
What I was in,
Katu nyimbe kole ya dol kono.
because I was in some difficulty,
Nte kafu nyolu ni mili nyolo.
some of my companions that we were together with,
Isuti ata na bake.
they were very close to me.
Ibuga hanyi numfanka na ya.
They were not even brave enough to come to my house.
Dol buga hanyi na line of kola.
Some even are not even brave to call my line.
Kanna musole call.
They used to call my wife.
Umukole abalet.
That's a lot of difficulty.
Barkabrin karte fayo keta.
But after the elections,
Falingo keta.
and there was change,
Watumolem
it was after that,
na mos committee na atawili.
the mosque committee.
Can you tell us what change you're referring to and when?
Akobe
And
falin
in what
jumale.
election?
Akobe falin jumale ma aketa wati jumale anin karte fay juma.
Wala nyin karte fay laba men keta.
That was the last elections that happened.
Kabiring Yaya Jamme la Mansakunda Boita.
When Yaya Jammeh's government collapsed
Coalition of Ganyeta.
and the coalition won,
Barosita.
and Barrow took over the presidency.
So what happened when the new government came into power?
Muna kita birim man sakunda kuto sita.
Abri Mansakunda Kuto Sita.
When the new government took over,
Mosque committee Vilita.
the mosque committee got up.
Mimbe nunje Imam Sise.
The one who was there, Imam Sise,
Qadi Sise.
Kadi Sise,
Atele bente no manunje.
he was my deputy then.
Ako Mosque committee nga wili.
He said to the mosque committee, let us get up.
ngata director ya civil aviation Abdullah Jamme
and go to the director of civil aviation Abdullah Jamme
na ya kacha
and discuss with him
kaitandala laftan na imam la pura muruna
to put to him that we would like to have our imam back.
bari wobe ken wala nyaadin ne
But how will this come to pass?
application o bijele de
There's an application.
bar pour kantol semben tuyandi
But to empower us
masakundala karola koteke
on the side of the government,
fate so application o kuta andi no bang
can the government renew that application
pour imam ye muruna
to make sure that the imam comes back?
inata taje
They went there,
ina kachata
they discussed with him,
ako problem tije
and he said there was no problem.
itata Islamic Council
They went to the Supreme Islamic Council
bari almamol be wolle koto
because the imams are under it,
ya itandila konna almamol lafta muruna nan
and they put it to them that we want to bring back our imam
katun tol lama wali
because we did not have any misunderstanding with him,
oton lafta sayndila nan
and therefore we want him to return home.
minili ya bondi je wol makije
Those who removed him did not put him there in the first place.
sembole ya bondi doron
He was removed
bari tol man faala
because of power, but we are not yet done with him.
wol koy bismillah
They said to him, fine.
ñine keta muru ñatina
This was the reason for my return back there.
And when did you actually return back?
ina tana murun nanje ka damu da wati juma
ne mañina carte fayta January le ngamera February
I think
If I don't forget, the elections took place in January, and in February,
murutana waka malungolo bar February karo murutana wolto airport
I returned back in February, but I am not, I can't remember the date, but I returned back in February.
And are you referring to 2017?
amunda walem 2017 samuti
walem
Yes, that is it.
So after 12 years of being deprived that position of Imam of the airport, it was given back to you when the new administration came into power.
amunda ye bali wo palace wala sanji tan nim fula yo bari bitum birinyim falon ke takota ke ina tana murun nanje
hade
Yes.
Just to conclude, Imam, just tell us, I know you've already gone through some of the impact your experience has had on you, but perhaps tell us what impact this has had on you and your family, just in brief, taking away everything that you've already said. You've already mentioned the impact on your father, for example, as well as your family being evicted from the staff quarters. Was there any other impact that you suffered as a result of your treatment and the experience that you had, the various arrests and detentions?
ako fo isa fo no nye ye mantora kote ngulu minu soto nyin koko ako hanni ma be sa takatu menkete fama la wayri yofo ye la dimbalu fanal findindi bungoko no yofo anin ye jorindi nyim mem fanan naten wolu ngawlu moyle bari bitu ngulu be ko la fo mantora do fanan soto tale mellate kan nyin ko dalilo kan
nte jato fangola karola mantora mallanka
On the side of my health, I did not have any difficulty
atunga fo nyamin tamantal lato ko nyeda min bis aman soto
because, like I told you, I did not go anywhere where I was made to suffer.
min keta doron wala mu dimbali janjantan ko male
What happened was that the family scattered in my absence
bari kabriye funtindi kotas momo tata e faale ya
because when they were evicted from the quarters, each one of them went back to their fathers.
nyinno be birkama nyinno tata pira
This one was in Brikama, the other one went to Pirang.
kabrin nata
When I returned,
jannimbe murulan nasu okono
before I could return back to my home,
wala jannimbe dula sotolambe tarla dami
before I could have a place where to reside,
ntarta o kuntun wala le
I was in that going up and down.
wo bata ngo soto bake
I encountered that difficulty.
anin dimba la fonna ni watu uche kono
And also the family, the way that they have missed my presence all this while.
ngo bata da mal soto ni ku adorne la takani fama la ko wala fonke tambulu ni ku ya bata ko
That is the hardship I encountered and the sadness I encountered, plus my father's case, which makes me even more sad.
anin kodo mi en jorindala andi mili en jorindala wal madinna
And also the money that I was made to repay to people who never gave it to me.
wala en ni ku ya
That saddened me.
kadu ka ke ba sindi dula kili
Because to have an elderly person sit at one spot
dalila kante
under no reason,
that
alone is can sadden you. Even a child, if you want to punish him or her, you tell him or her to sit here. You are not going anywhere. As much more an elderly person. Someone that is in high demand by the whole world. How many people had their programs messed up? How many people lost what their income and their gain as a result of my absence? That saddened me amongst things or other things.
Imam, thank you very much. We've come to the end of your testimony. I will now hand you over to the commissioners. They may have certain questions they would like to ask, and then they will then give you the opportunity to say some final remarks.
Imam inumbarabake umfutata ntela nyininkaro bandulato sai mbela ko sai undila commissioner la karola fo mobe kono men nyininkaro sotong niol be botala bitun ibe silo dilete fanana yela kumakango kumfa ibe lafla kamen fo moli.
Mr. Chairman, I hand over the witness to you.
Thank you very much, Counsel, and thank you, Imam Hydara, for your testimony and for agreeing to come and testify before the Commission. Thank you very much indeed. I'll turn to the commissioners on the left if you have any questions. Yes, Imam Jallo, you have the floor, please.
Imam Jallo, wala kane nyininka.
Imam Hydara.
Naam.
Mi fala landa demo e pular.
Bismillah.
Imam Jallo wants to question him in Fula.
Gila nyande nangada.
Since the day you were arrested,
hanyande achitada.
to the day you were released,
Ko hondum Supreme Islamic Council wadi e fiɗum.
What has the Supreme Islamic Council done about the whole affair?
Supreme Islamic Council.
The Supreme Islamic Council.
Ya foko ye samato dunne wilta kuwala.
They said they wore shoes and got up about the issue.
Bari man hani jamfala jede.
But they feared going deeply into the matter.
Atu
because
ye meeting ke ko sinyafula.
They held a meeting on 2 occasions.
Inamanambulala.
Before I was released.
Prokafuta president makanyininka.
So that they will go to the president and question him.
Barisilo mansoto.
But there was no way
Purkata.
for them to proceed to the president.
Baranganyin kalamuta.
But I was aware of these.
Alhaji Bandin Drame.
Alhaji Bandin Drame.
Otumo Umar Faye be Minister of Religion.
At that time, Omar Faye was the Minister for Religious Affairs.
Atata jele.
He went to the minister
Purkanna kumo Faye.
To explain my matter to him, to the minister.
Purise jibere kenna kuwala.
So that they will look into my issue.
Baru fanande keseman nabo jabatoje.
Nothing came out of that also. That's what I know about the matter.
Janninkabo.
Before I was released.
The
second thing.
And the Supreme Islamic Council ko wotanabe be jodi and then jonde.
You know that the Supreme Islamic Council, they got those positions and because of they were voted in.
Asikisi tawino ko khalifaji leydi ndin e dina kan what won no Supreme Islamic Council. Asiki ko hondu wadayno.
You think that if that position was held by the caliphs of this country and other religious leaders, you think what would have happened? What do you think would have happened?
Dandi kwanu mira saket. It foko don diurete.
Kodum dum firti.
Lansango daminto sutiyata molka hanyi sawunna jelela.
The short part or the short area of a fence is where people used to scale to jump over. Because I term myself as a short area of defense, but had it been somebody, a tall person, nobody will scale over me. This is why it happened this way.
You have the floor, please.
Thank you, Imam.
Deputy Chair ako Obi, thank you, Imam.
You were accused of saying negative things about the government.
Ako ye tumi koye kumajawolle fo mansa kundama.
Yet, tapes existed which showed or indicated whatever sermon you had given. And yet, nobody listened to those tapes.
Akondum kasetolu be keri. Meni alonko ete yo kutubo menke ye tumi menna. O kasetolu bije bare hanimo kilim mansoto men sita ka o kasetolu ta pour que la moyala. O dodo manke.
Kani?
No.
Yes, that's what I know. You said it very clearly that nobody listened to those tapes. So what do you think of a system where people do have an evidence and just ignore the evidence?
Ako yanyi sene andila dia mo konole ko kasetolu bije alum mo manna wuli men sita o kasetolu ta ke lamwe ako manna sede ko yo katarlari mulu ke nya kasiala.
Wolemu kun kanando lebe kerino.
That was to say, self-preservation was what was existing.
Everyone
was trying to see how to extricate themselves so that they are not involved. That was what was existing then. Because the people that I go to, all of them, this was what they said to me. We are scared. But apart from that, there is no reason why we are keeping you. Because they didn't tell us anything, which is the reason why we are keeping you or arresting you. So I saw that people are just trying to free themselves and to save themselves, save their skins.
Thank you, Imam.
Imam.
Thank you. I'll now turn to, yes, Imam C, you have the floor. I'll come to the commissioners on the right.
Sorry,
I am extending greetings to you and I honor you. Are you the first son?
Ala kam ardi. Min woni neddo dimmojo.
Yes.
Tammojo.
There are two people ahead of me. I am the third son. Have you been given back the imamship of the mosque? Yes. Are you back into that building where your family was evicted?
Allah.
No. They've approached me for me to go back into that same building, but no, I said no. Now I am living in my own compound in Brikama. Are you there leading prayers for the 5 daily prayers or only for Friday prayers?
Me had got me julna tisbar sabu betotti kam auto pour mi yahmi da julna tan waktu ju joydi sim hebi fere mi yahat aljuma kam non kam baytata.
Yes, in many cases I go there to lead prayers because they've provided transport for me. But as for Friday prayers, it's every week I have to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kinte.
Assalamu alaikum, ya Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I'm appealing to you, be kind to the people.
Iko kumolu kafo dandangola, kumadantan kafo dandangola.
You said that certain utterances, certain words are being uttered around the sidelines.
Ni aje ko kumolu kafo dandangola men sababu tela mutola hanni manke toñati istem makola yentiminandi yawo kumolu menu ka wotumirol menu ka yayo kundo ye dandango dandangol ye dol chomboti je ya makoy dukare.
Can you help us and tell us the rumors that were going round for the reason of your arrest? Can you please help us and give us something?
Okay.
Yes.
bayre ntamantaranum banta
because I was not outside.
min ka fo banta malo
What was being said outside, I was not aware.
bar molle benu nye banta
But I had people outside.
kabrim funtita
When I came out,
e konye yemune foite
they said to me, "What did they tell you?"
nko ento de man fem foñ
I said to them, "They did not tell me anything."
e konye bari ntolka kuma jamale moyde
They said to me, "But we used to hear a lot of things."
nko alin kono to dia wollo munti
I said to them, "Can you say those to me? What are these things?"
nyimbe wol kono
Among them,
e koy musolla nyaka to tafole
that you spoke on the female circumcision.
nyimbe wol kono
This was also among them.
igotole abdallah kujabila moroti e kasada alfa kebo suko molula
That you are Abdullah Kujabi's marabu and you make sacrifices, slaughter sacrifices for him in his house.
nyimbe wol kono
This is also amongst them.
Deda Hydara la saya idea mutajele ko mansa kundala yafa.
That Deda Hydara's death, you spoke on that issue and you said that he was killed by the government.
Nyimbe wol kono kamili fo ila ko to muyat na yemuta.
These are among the things they say about you, which were the reasons for your arrest.
Ko mansa kunda mano dole soto yemindi la pour alla tundo bare ye mano nyi ya wafile.
That the government gave you rice which was meant for your district, which you sold out.
Nko yolef.
I said to them, that was what they said.
Iko ha wala kafonu
And they
njambanta.
said that this is what was being said outside here.
Nko ente wode mamfem fonye nyulukiluwo kilindoto mamfem fonyeje.
I said to them, well, they never said anything, any one of these issues to me.
Andu nde tonya mamfem fonye nyildodo to kami nyilye mimbi se kanye mamfem fonyeje.
And honestly, they never said anything.
Bari nari ngokola.
But after I came back,
Milbe banta ikonye kanyine fonyine atne ko yemuta.
those that are outside said to me, these are the things that they said, and this is the reason why you were being arrested.
Fendantambi yense wol koyndi.
There are a few things which I would like to clarify.
Musolla nyaka to tandi am talal.
On the issue of female circumcision, I spoke on it,
Bari ngo base londo le kan
but I based all of that on knowledge
Al-Qur'an ni hadiso.
from the Al-Quran and the Hadith.
Mammo to foto mamman satof.
I did not call anyone's name. I did not also name the government.
Fulanjao
Secondly,
Deda Hydara la saya mbijele.
death of Deda Hydara, I was there.
Ntatale.
I went there.
Bari nte man Deda Hydara fa mo malo.
But I do not know Deda Hydara personally.
Bar man ninkol kamim fo
But what the Mandinka say,
iko sabule futo si muru ngoma.
Sabule futosi.
Muru ngoma. Yalo futo ni murote mo jam fata nyonna. So muno be futo si la muru ngoma
The reason, the proverb is, it is because of a reason why couscous will reach the head of a knife. Because a knife is always far from couscous. What will bring them together?
Yalo futo kuntu fenta bala.
There's nothing with couscous that a knife will cut.
Bari subole tabikake futu daji yoti.
But if they cut meat and make it the source of couscous,
Futu domo la be futu domo kan.
because it's in that couscous,
Ko ibo subo kuntu le ma kuntu no ibulola.
if they want to cut that meat and they were unable to cut it with their hands,
Ko ali muro sambalamba.
they will say, bring a knife.
Sa momi mulo be norin futu la nuwe murukumo muta muna murukumo te futu sotol.
Those whose sons had couscous stained with couscous, if they catch a knife, the knife will also have couscous on it.
Oto miye futu si murukumo ma subolo woti subole dunte tema.
It's because of the meat. That was the reason why the knife became stained with couscous.
Miye nsi Deda Hydara la sangoto.
The reason why I was at Deda Hydara's funeral,
Andu man Deda Hydara fa mo malong a yirima malong.
and I didn't know Deda Hydara before,
Bari na chairman la mosque committee ikafa e keba jamme.
but the chairman of our mosque committee called Keba Jame
Deda Hydara bari musole babul futu wala.
is married to Deda Hydara's sister.
Deda la saya ya tratebe travel ka be banta.
Data's death, by the time Data died, he had traveled, he was not around.
Wallahi man Data la sango fa moy.
I didn't even hear about Data's death.
Atele nkola.
He called me
Akonya ko ye sango moy le ba.
and told me, have you heard about the death?
Ko hani?
I said, no.
Akonya mbita mfale kunu.
Told me my in-law was murdered yesterday.
Bari lafta nimbade be kelaite se mabe jente to ya bari ntete Bangkoka.
I would like you to attend the funeral on my behalf because I've already traveled out of the country.
Nyine isi Data la badero.
This is what took me to Data's funeral.
Bari kumo mafoje.
But I didn't even utter a single word there.
Mafo.
I didn't say anything there.
Sakai sa fole atina.
Much more, they will say, this is what he said or this is why.
Mano mi kafo.
The rights that they are talking about.
Manke sefuti.
I am not a chief.
Manke alkali.
I'm not an alkali.
Manke governor.
I'm not a governor.
Manke area council chairman.
I'm not a chairman of
Mune mansara mano silantema.
Why should I have government rights with me?
Abdallah Kujabi mi kafo.
Abdullah Kujabi that they are talking about,
Ndela ka bembe dole ka.
we just meet on the street.
Nga nyonkonto.
We greet each other.
Amalo mbeda mimfa.
He doesn't even know where I
Mala beda mi.
I don't even know where he is.
Wafanante dalilati.
No, that's not another reason.
Bar nyulle kafonu.
But these were the things they were saying.
Thank you. Commissioners. Yes, Commissioner Carr, you have the floor, please.
Commissioner Ka, wala fanang kane nyininka.
Thank you, Chairman. I just have a simple question. When you were arrested, did that affect your teaching in the Islamic school?
Ako ala nyininka ro muku feare multi. Biri ye muta fo ayela karandiro nasindi le karam muto bang.
Ha ko.
Yes.
Ako bayri nyanta wala dal mil dila ninte tije jumale be selaji.
Yes, because the lessons I should have given to the students. If I am not there, nobody was able to deliver it.
Andu yenta tanyina kamala pour kanjo wo program tala foka pare.
And the reason is that I was employed to teach and be paid.
Amda ko dinni wol fota lesson of an belale.
And the children missed all those lessons
Nkaminil dila.
that I used to teach them
Janinte bina.
before I come back.
Fota wala.
That went like that.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Carr. Futoning subo kachaka dia Hydara kundango le baget. It'll follow in Tonyin. Imam, if you have any concluding remarks to make, please proceed to do so now. Thank you.
Betun silang nasilo di fanana ipro isi kuma kangolo fo bela kacha kumfala dameng bela fila kameng for moli.
Wala mo ka follow ka ala tentu.
That is, first of all, to thank God.
Manso mi ala karfa fa tumbulu fam futata bi fanamma.
The king, the ruler that left things under my control until I'm here today.
Namo karfa fa wala mun niyoti.
That is the things that he left in my possession. I'm talking about life.
Bayi yalla musuta maye da fay denkane musuta maye dara.
Because God does not give anything for free. He just gives for safekeeping.
Na lafta taala duraka taala.
Whenever he wants to take, he takes.
Oto na tubula tentu.
So if he still leaves it with you, you have to thank him.
Fulanyao.
Secondly,
Kamuli tentu mini latan kampuru kanandanda.
to thank those who joined me today to accompany me here.
Kanafutana suno drinkirama.
To come and reach the area which made me really unhappy in life.
Wala nya alfal mil besina al nyati lola.
These are the elders who decided to leave their jobs and convey me to come here.
Alaji Malam Fati.
Alaji Malam Fati.
Aning na master mi ala retired kafa Alhaji Sajasane.
And my master, a retired master, Alhaji Sajasane.
Jama mi mbembala birkama nyamba tolla mun na mosque committee ti atela muila secretary general Sajafati.
The mosque near my home in Brikama, Sajafati is the chairman of that mosque committee.
Atelam chairman what?
He is the chairman of that committee.
Ani Imam je Sidi Diouf.
Plus Imam Sidi Diouf.
Imam olem Bakau K Point.
He is an imam at the Bakau K Point Mosque.
Ani ndimma Sheikh na Hydara ngamin tola mbitanna.
And my son Sheikh Hydara, whom I named after my in-law.
Ani na talibo Fakeba Job.
Plus one of my students, Fakeba Job.
Ani senior immigration officer Eliman Bay.
Plus my neighbor, an immigration officer, Eliman Mbai.
Aning namuskeba Fatumata Hydara.
Plus my elder wife, Fatumata Hydara.
Aning fulanya Mariama Kujabi.
And my second wife, Mariama Kujabi.
Aning dimma kambanu Yusufa Hydara.
Plus my young son, Yusufa Hydara.
And na driver Lamin Jaju.
Plus my driver, Lamin Jaju.
Nyuleng hanyindi bake.
These people really stood by me and they made me to conquer any fear.
Yang hanyindi bake.
They really conquered the fear in me.
Nyaje mo hanyita.
If you see somebody who is brave to do something,
Fenne ba koma.
there is something supporting him from behind. Forgive me, I want to give one example, one proverb.
Iko sula wulengo.
A monkey, a red monkey,
Anata fo su ko mola.
came all the way to the compounds, the last compounds of a village,
Aseltanyo bentango kansanto.
and climbed on top of a bench where they used to put coos.
Ako ali kila ki wuloli esate kono ali afo e mansa yatale.
He said, send message to the dogs in this town and tell them that I am now the king here.
Kabirin ki baro futata wulol masate kono.
When the dogs got that information,
Ye emergency meeting wakile.
they called for an emergency meeting.
Iko baranyi mujutun na ya baleti.
They said, but this is really belittling to us.
Sula wulongo ebo wulo kono ina mansa ya mbijang.
A red monkey comes from the forest and become king here in this village where we live.
Ila keba ko alanga ta doro ngajibe foto nyalem.
The elder one said, okay, let's go and see first whether it is true.
Atambita.
He led them.
Kabirina na voice fumanta bentangola.
When they came until they were near this high bench,
Aje santo.
they saw the red monkey up.
Akwa andu ato nyalem de.
He said, and this is true, you know,
Bari ngafutama.
but let's go and reach this
Bari
monkey.
yara foto mo ka bentango santo le je manduma je.
On the whole, they were seeing the top of the bench up, but what was below, they weren't seeing that.
Bari kabiri suti adale duma je.
But when they got nearer and saw what was under the bench,
Wulol la keba breakta.
the leader of the dogs stood.
E kay munem.
They asked him, what's it?
Ako ali batu ala kumu lafta tonya yala.
He told them, wait, what he said is nearly the truth now.
E kay munem.
They asked him, what is it?
Ako katu ngabentongo nyabe tini abeko jatole be bitirinje.
He told them, look, it looks like there is a lion lying under the bench.
Atilijio la abeko suluole be bitirinje.
Then on the western side, it looks like there is a hyena.
Abulu bala karola abeko solole be bitirinje.
On the right hand side, looks like there is a tiger.
Amarala abeko wanjalan kole be bitirinje.
And on the left hand side, looks there is a zebra.
Ha, nyewula kono dafe ngolu.
These animals from the forest,
Nuwole wula kono dafe mbula tema.
if they happen to support any animal,
Nuwo ko mansa yata to nyale.
if that animal tells you, I am now the king, it is true.
Oto to nyala mansa yata le.
Then it is true, the monkey, the red monkey has become.
Oto ndiaje mo hanyita mollem.
So if you see somebody having the daring mind to do certain things, is so having support from behind.
Andu coming for bentengo.
What I'm saying here, a high bench,
Akana wasu baramali ede.
shouldn't bluff the pillars that hold it.
Niamo bentengo baramali.
Benches are made and placed on top of pillars.
Nuwol bota koto.
When the pillars collapse,
Ala bente yata fola bita duma.
the bench will come down.
Oto nganyulu jai.
I extend my sincerest thanks.
Ani minile batake na kuoto kabriye mutafoja nibe mbulala.
And those who suffered and did things for me from the day of my arrest up to the day of my release.
Mobele duake.
And everybody prayed for me.
Mobele katoke.
A lot of people tried.
Ngebeja ngetendo.
My thanks to all of them.
Najairi fula nyao.
My second thanks
Wamu sise na ala moleti.
is Sise and his people.
Ndanga ala nyi TRRC ngato lalede.
This TRRC, I coined a name for it.
Ndanga to sotalale.
I have a name for it.
Nko yoma tubula sarairu. Al-Quran oko na bijele.
It is in the Quran.
Yoma tubula sarairu. Yoma tubula sarairu.
Ha, afasari.
Lunne bije.
There is a day, it means the meaning now. There is a day.
Ala ko ulunno mbe kulolu wanyarala.
Allah said, that's the day when I will reveal the secrets.
bari yara fa ona manan kala lakira ka ke dunya janne folo.
On the whole, before it happens in the whole in the next world, it starts in this world here.
Ala fe on fenke
Whatever Allah does,
along abe kerin dunya kono janne.
Know that it is existing in this world.
Akan kawande wala puru akanan terendi lakiran sa along abijele fana.
That's why he said it shouldn't surprise us what we see here, because it exists also in the next world.
Woto Gambia la tubula sarairu wo munyin commission wala tiko.
Then Gambia's tubula sarair is this commission.
Muda.
This is the commission.
Doku kolemba.
It's a very difficult job.
Mune akoleyande.
What made it difficult?
Tonya.
Is the truth.
Tonya koleyata.
The truth is always hard to come by.
Ye momo ja batata.
If you see anybody suffering,
ye momo je moli akon.
Anybody you see people hate him,
ye momo je moli akele.
Anybody you see people stand against him always.
Alafta tonya le lonila.
That person always wants to establish the truth.
Itaka jawol sotole.
You will have a lot of enemies.
Uto tonya lundila.
Then somebody whose job is to establish the truth is Allah.
Allah kontele mutonyate.
Allah said he is the truth.
Tonyale muntete.
The truth is himself.
Tonya yako to alonde.
Do you know the meaning of truth?
Tonya manika kan tonko yako to alonde.
In Mandinka, the meaning of truth, manika hani afonya nkarandi.
Katua nyama.
Let it remain what it is.
Tua nyama ikafo tonya, tua nyama.
Tonya, let it remain what it is in Mandinka atu anyama. Leave it as it is. It doesn't change.
Abukafali.
It doesn't change.
Yefani yako tolon.
Lies in Mandinka fania.
Arabu kangolem.
It's an Arab word.
Fanau akabanne.
Fanau akabanne.
Ameta jauja seba.
However long it may take.
Tonya dungo katua nyama.
Lies don't last.
But
the truth always lasts. So the commission established on the truth. You know what it looks like to me? This commission. From day one. What my research revealed to me. From the day that Abu Bakr Siddiq, the first caliph, sat down on the Prophet's place,
I mean for
what he said. That's what we are doing. You people placed me here. It's not that I am better than all of you, but you people trusted me and gave me this position. If I am always on the truth, help me. If I leave the way, if I go astray, please try and put me back on the road. Do you know what I want? I want those who have been offended and they are crying, I want to wipe their tears. People whose rights were violated, I want to return those rights to them. Those who were made offended and are angry, I want to make sure that their anger dissipates. That's what I want. And that's the job you are doing here. Secondly, this commission, I looked at it properly, seriously. The Al-Quran, why is it here? How and the hadiths, why are they here? Why did they send the Prophet himself? Why did Allah send him? To talk. To dialogue. To dialogue. If there is no dialogue, a lot of things will be lost which shouldn't have gone lost. The Wolof said there is no lost between us. It is lack of dialogue. And I've seen that you people's job is mainly dialogue. There were people who were seriously angry against each other. But from the onset of the TRRC, their anger started dissipating. Because discussions and dialogue took place here. Some people in fact apologized to each other. They shook hands They shook hands. That happened at the TRRC here. So you are doing a big job. But what I want to tell the citizens of this country, the indigenous of the Gambia, we people who are here in this country, those of us that marry one another, those of us that bury each other, those of us who attend each other's naming ceremonies, I say, let's be mindful about each other. We are the ones who are neighbors. The Wolofs say they want to tie the knot for the marriage, but let's wait for the relatives until they arrive. We want to do the naming ceremony, but let's wait for the relatives. We want to bury him, but let's wait for the relatives. But there's fire on his house. Let's wait for the relatives until they come, so that we could put out the fire. I have never heard that. Once a house is on fire, no one will say, wait, let's wait for the relatives until they arrive before we put out the fire. Everyone gets up at the same time to put out the fire. That is the way we are here. We are neighbors. We are relatives.
The same family.
We are the same family. Those who are living together. The tongue and the teeth are inside the mouth. But once in a while, the teeth will bite the tongue to the extent that there will be spill of blood. But let me give you one lesson there. You know, the tongue can bear. No matter how much it is bitten, it keeps bearing. It keeps bearing. But what comes in the end? All the teeth end up loosening up and leaving the tongue alone in the mouth. So therefore, let's have patience and give quarter to each other, to know that we are the custodians of each other. Let us not have differences. When there should be a difference, the difference must be based on benefit. And when people are neighbors, the most important thing is how they benefit one another. So therefore, I want the people of this country to forgive one another. Let's have mechanisms through which we can have dialogue. That is what humanity asks for. Fire doesn't extinguish fire. When the fight gets so tense, they usually say, let's put down the weapons and negotiate. Therefore, let's negotiate. The compound owners and their families, let them discuss, let them have dialogue. The heads of the villages and their people, let them have dialogue. Each and everyone, wherever you have charge of people, make effort and have a dialogue with them. Because if we dialogue, many things would become easy for us. So therefore, the message that I want to pass on to Cisse and his colleagues is to thank him for the good work that they are doing. All of us will not see it. The Arabs have a saying, that what everyone else likes, you always see it in a distance, but you will never get close enough. But you just keep looking at it. What is the truth? You stand by it. After that,
the name,
Otuje.
the remaining, leave it there.
Moliafo.
Let the people talk about it.
Woto mbali jaila.
So I want to thank you.
Mbali tentula.
And praise you.
Mbe mabela be jaila.
And all those who are witnessing here, I want to thank them too. Those that are watching and listening as well. From here to the outside of the Gambia. I want to thank them all and praise them. We are seeking for forgiveness. If I say anything that offended anyone, you please forgive me. We have forgiven all. And we did that for God's sake. And we also have given and we did that for God's sake. I want to thank my people for the honor that you gave me since I came in here with my people. You welcomed us and you honored us at the reception, in the food, the lunch and dinner, the cold water. Sise has tried a lot. I want you to excuse me, Council. Council, the one asking me.
My name is Sagar, you forgot.
Sagar.
I want to tell you something about your chairman's surname. You know, the sheriffs and the CCs know each other quite well. Why do they call them Cisse Mori?
They said one of their elders' food store was burnt down. On the whole, there was a hen beneath that food store. That hen also got burned until it got completely burned. When he opened the food store, he saw that burnt hen. And he decided to put it in a cover or in a container and started running away. They asked him, hey, what are you having? He told them a cooked hen or a cooked chicken. Elder man, what do you have? He said a cooked chicken. That's why they are called Cisse Mori. Yes, I want to thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks a lot.
Deputy just whispered that one knot. It ain't winning. I lost. Bumpe lose the. Lafitano Sirfo Kamen Kilama Yeduanye, but in Mempotemba be doing them follow from our way to our mobile. Thank you again so much, Emma, for coming to testify before the Commission. And for the brilliant proverbs and sayings in Mandinka. And the extraordinary competence in the many languages that you speak. Yeah, it has enriched your testimony tremendously. We thank you very much, for the wise words and that you made in your concluding remarks. Again, thank you very much for coming to testify before the Commission. This brings us to the end of today's testimony, and tomorrow we'll resume at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning sharp. Thank you very much. Meeting is adjourned.